Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. This is the kind of news that really gets the heart pounding for any Commanders supporter. The team is always in the headlines, but lately there's been a lot of chatter about how they're going to handle their wide receiver situation, especially when it comes to one of their top stars, Terry McLaurin. You see, finding a solution to the lingering question of McLaurin's future with Washington isn't exactly a walk in the park. The team is trying to figure out whether to pay him the big bucks or consider a different route, one that might just reshape their roster and their future prospects in the NFC East and beyond. Let's be honest, Terry McLaurin has been a cornerstone for Washington. Since entering the league, he's proven time and again that he's one of the most reliable and explosive receivers in the NFL. 5-1-0-yard seasons. A player who's not just a deep threat but also someone who can make those tough contested catches, especially when it counts. But as he approaches his 30th birthday, the question of whether to commit big money to him has become a hot topic in NFL circles. The Commanders, as much as they value him, are walking a fine line. On one hand, you have McLaurin's undeniable talent, his chemistry with young quarterback Jayden Daniels, and his leadership on and off the field. On the other hand, there's the financial reality: is paying top-tier money to a nearly 30-year-old receiver with a hefty price tag the smartest move for a team aiming at a Super Bowl window? And so, the whispers in NFL circles suggest that Washington might be leaning towards a trade rather than a hefty contract extension. Why? Because they're exploring options that could bring in a significant upgrade or at least a different kind of threat at the receiver position. A potential move discussed involves trading McLaurin for a taller, more physically imposing receiver, a 6'4" player who could fill a different role in their offense. The name floating around in these discussions is Christian Watson, the Packers' talented wideout who's been making waves with his ability to stretch defenses vertically. Now, this isn't just a random name. Watson is a player with enormous potential, and he's just coming back from a serious injury, a torn ACL he suffered last season. But the good news is, he's already trending in the right direction in his recovery, and his skill set could be exactly what Washington needs to complement their offense. Imagine a receiving core with Jayden Daniels, who's entering his second year as a starter, now having a true vertical threat like Watson to throw to. Watson's ability to get behind defenses and make those big plays down the field could be a game-changer for Washington, especially because Daniels, in his rookie year, leaned heavily on the short game, relying on quick passes and screens. To really unlock his potential, he needs someone who can take the top off defenses, and Watson fits that mold perfectly. His career average of 16.9 yards per reception shows he's capable of big play production, and his size, 6'4", 208 pounds, means he offers something different from the smaller, quicker receivers Washington currently has, like Deebo Samuel or Jalen Lane, who excel after the catch but might lack that extra size and speed mismatch outside the numbers. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The Packers are in a bit of a tricky spot with Watson. He's in a contract year, meaning they need to make a decision soon about his future, but they also want to maximize their current roster's potential. Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst has indicated that Watson will start the season on the PUP list, which means he'll miss at least the first 4 games. That's a risk for any team considering acquiring him, but the reward could be enormous if they're willing to wait. If Washington pulls the trigger on a deal involving Watson, they'd have to be patient, but the payoff could be huge. They'd get that big-bodied receiver to complement Samuel and Lane, and suddenly, Daniels would have a much more versatile arsenal. But it's not just about the player's talent, it's also about the strategic fit. Christian Watson's ability to stretch the field would give Daniels a much-needed deep threat, something that's been missing from Washington's offense for a while. Plus, his size and speed make him an ideal target for contested catches, especially in tight situations. That's exactly what a young quarterback like Daniels needs to develop confidence in his arm and his decision-making. This kind of vertical threat can open up the entire offense, creating mismatches and forcing defenses to respect the deep ball, which in turn can open up more underneath routes for other receivers. Of course, there are hurdles. The Packers would want compensation for Watson, and the timing of the recovery and the start of the season can complicate negotiations. But the potential benefits for Washington could outweigh the risks. The team's front office, led by GM Martin Peters, has been cautious when it comes to McLaurin, mainly because of his age and some concerns from the analytics department about long-term value. They've been hesitant to commit to an extension that might not be financially sustainable or strategically wise at this point. So if they can't reach an agreement with McLaurin, trading him for someone like Watson, who's still young and has a lot of upside, could be a smart move. Now, let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture. The Commanders believe they're in a position to contend for a playoff run and possibly more. Their young quarterback, Jayden Daniels, showed flashes of brilliance last season, and with some added weapons, especially a big-bodied receiver like Watson, he could take a significant leap forward. The team's defense has been solid, and the offensive line is looking better than it has in recent years. So all signs point to Washington trying to maximize their talent while managing the salary cap efficiently. Moving McLaurin might seem risky, but in the NFL, bold moves are often what separates good teams from great ones. On the other side, the Packers are in a bit of a rebuild, but also in a position to compete in their division. They need a true alpha receiver to step up and lead their receiving core, especially with young talents like Matthew Golden and Savion Williams arriving through the draft. Watson, in his contract year, could be that leader if he stays healthy and productive. Acquiring McLaurin could help them fill that void and give quarterback Jordan Love a reliable target. It's all about finding the right fit for both sides, and if the deal goes through, it could be a win-win for Washington and Green Bay. The whole situation underscores how dynamic and strategic NFL roster moves can be. It's not just about adding talent. It's about understanding the long-term vision, cap management, player development, and of course, seizing the moment to improve your chances of hoisting that Lombardi trophy. For Washington fans, it's a roller coaster of anticipation, wondering if this bold move will pay off and how it will reshape their team's future. And for the Packers, it's about making the right gamble to contend now and build for the future. So, as we watch these negotiations unfold, keep in mind that the NFL is a league of moves and countermoves, of bold decisions that can define a franchise's trajectory for years to come. Whether McLaurin stays in Washington or gets traded for a player like Watson, one thing is for sure. The NFC East is about to get even more interesting, and the Commanders are right in the middle of this exciting chess match. They're not just looking to compete, they're aiming higher, and every move they make could be a step toward their next Super Bowl appearance. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential trade? Do you think moving McLaurin for a player like Christian Watson makes sense? Would you prefer to keep Terry, or are you excited about the possibilities of a new receiver making a difference? Drop your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Your voice matters so much to us and to the future of this team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, rumors, and analysis on everything Washington Commanders. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep supporting our team through every twist and turn of this exciting NFL season.